Hi, all. This is Raimundo again. I'm here to talk more about my adventures in for structural engineering, getting a structural engineering job. Specifically, my goal is to get uh, a building design job in structural engineering. Um, you might notice something about my mannerisms in my face. I do believe I gained some weight too. Recently I've just not been caring about what I eat at all because I figure that I just need to focus on my, getting a job or I don't know what you want to call it, self esteem. Because as the days progress, basically, I notice that it's like I feel less in control. I feel like I need to sort of emulate some kind of animalistic thing because as the days pick up and the more you apply, the more you try, the more professional you try to appear, and almost an obsessive way, the harder it is to resist being more animalistic. So like right now, what that means to me is um, basically just eating whatever I want or whatever feel I feel like, and I know that's primitive, but then there's also some other primitive things too. But but basically, this is because I want to feel in control of myself. Now, I admit that it's not as strong a strong-willed thing to do as other things. Now, I'm not like going out there and getting double cheeseburgers all the time, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, well, maybe I could just eat some pizza right now. And the pizza may not even be that much. It may just be like two slices or whatever. But like, it's this is the opposite of what I was doing a year ago, which is I said, no, none of this fast food. Just stick to like peanut butter, stick to all that stuff. So I'm expecting to gain another 5 pounds before I go back to grad school. But anyway, so that's neither here nor there. It just the only that only matters to me really. I don't have a girlfriend. I'm not trying to find a girlfriend or a wife or anything like that. But right now that's not my priority. My priority is either getting a job or trying to become more alpha in whatever I'm doing, or at least trying to emulate stuff so that it registers in my subconscious to be that way. So, because you know how like animals, they whatever they see, they're just like, oh, they impose themselves on the environment. So if whatever you can do to train yourself to do that, whether it's going to the gym more, if it's eating more, I would recommend you try to do that if other factors didn't matter. In my case, it's eating more. It's also eating more. It's also going to the gym more, and just trying to be feel stronger in some sense. Anyway, so yeah, I'm applying right now to go to grad school in fall 2018, and I think I have a pretty good chance of getting into to some place. I'm applying to all the CSUs and then three UCs. So there's UCLA, UC Davis, UC San Diego, and I'm not expecting to get into any of those, but it's worth a try, even though it's $105, $55 for the CSU applications. And so right now I've done my due diligence when it comes to requesting to get myself or to get a letter of recommendation from three people that I worked with in undergrad. The other thing though is I'm a little bit concerned about getting into any of them because I have zilch research experience, and personally I didn't do research experience. I didn't do research at the undergrad level, mainly because I was having trouble with my classes. So I just kept studying, studying, and studying. I mean, right now, if I had to, I would probably do research and say, oh, well, if I don't know this shit, just deal with the uncertainty and just submit something. I mean, at this point, going through 11 months of job searching, I've gotten to that point. Like, I'm willing, because during school, the most mind-numbing, mind-boggling thing to deal with was the uncertainty that I would get something wrong, and it would lead to like, I don't know, getting the same grades that I did before. But I digress because I actually improved my GPA as the semesters went in, and my structural GPA is actually zero point 0.5 points higher in GPA than my average for civil engineering. So, but and if you consider just the design classes, that's like a 3.7. So I think I have a pretty good chance at grad school. It's just that, and it's only 1 year. It's just that I may not be able to get into any place because I don't have research experience. And let's just hope that doesn't happen, but that I can get somewhere because I'm planning on spending at least about $800 on this stuff. So without further ado, that's basically what's been happening, and it takes a lot of time going through the graduate school applications. Yeah, see that the whole research thing has been kind of scaring me lately because of the fact that a lot of people were saying, "Hey, man, what they look for research experience," but there's three paths. There's the PhD, and then there's two Masters of Science paths that you could take. One of them is a thesis. The other one is being tested, a tested based one. The tested based one is more so related to if you wanted to do stuff in the industry afterwards. So I'm going to go down that path, and I think people will understand where I'm coming from when I apply there. But yeah, I mean and then other than that, it's been pretty bad when it comes to other things because I don't have a car, and the car I was using for Lyft, it's had a lot of problems. Tomorrow I have to go to get it, get the hard water damage off, potentially costing $300-$400. So it just hasn't been worth it. I mean, if we're talking about a stagnant growth, this is stagnant growth. This is definitely the case right now. I mean, almost nothing has been getting done except for the grad applications, and I just keep applying, right? And then I've gotten some, like some callbacks. I'm really surprised. Then I'll call them back, and what will happen is they'll say something like, "Oh wow, it's you really can't you've really been having a lot of trouble finding a job." I said, "Yes, sir, I am." And the main reason why, and it's actually a little bit difficult to explain, and then they end up asking me about my GPA and stuff because I think they have some sympathy. And then, yeah, then one guy said, "Well, maybe we can start you off at drafting." But see, they're so busy that if I call them back, I mean that they don't have me as their priority. So that's been the case. But this is all a consequence of not networking, of not doing an internship, of not even doing research, just doing school shit. And now that it's been 12 months, 11, 12 months of doing this consistent applying, it's finally registering in my head, in my subconscious, that this career thing needs to start as soon as possible. So when I get to grad school, the number one thing that I'm going to be trying to do is to get a internship. That's the number one thing. And although like it's really easy for me to get too focused into the school stuff, these 11 months are so built into the pain and suffering in my head that there's no way I'm gonna treat the other thing as being higher precedent. That I don't think so. So this is my second chance to get an internship, and hopefully it'll work. Now, this is not the only reason why I'm going to grad school. The other reason is that overall it's going to help me in my career. Like, I could technically not do grad school and just rely on time to eventually time and luck to eventually get a position. But the idea of grad school is just optimal because I already know this is something I want to do, and it's just going to really help me to get a PE, for example, because getting a master's, I feel ready for the PE, honestly, in many ways. Now, obviously, when I start studying for it, I need some months, like maybe 5-6 months before I can feel actually ready to take it. But if I go to grad school and get my MS, I only need 1 year of experience compared to 2 years if I had a bachelor's in California. Now I have to check my finances or whatever, not finances, but everything to make sure that that's the case. But that's pretty much the relative times for if I want to take the PE. And it sounds reasonable because the thing about grad school is I have a lot of incentives to go. first of all, I've capped out on all my educational prospects for this. Second of all, I'm not working for anyone. Third, I suspect that when I start working, I'm gonna say, wait, this is so slow. I wanna learn more, and nobody's teaching me this stuff. Like maybe my supervisor who has a PE might explain this thing or that thing, but at the end of the day, it's not that quick. So I would rather go to grad school for that. Trust me, right now the process is so stagnant that grad school is basically the best thing. Anyway, thanks for watching. It's November 15th. I forgot to say 2017, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much.